I'd take that bigger title too.
Oh, can you open that for me, please? Can you open that for me, please, before we start this?
No, thank you.
I'd like to call this regular town board meeting for Town of Bayfield to order for Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025. Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg.
Here.
Trustee Zazzaro.
Here.
Trustee Hartz.
Here.
Trustee Katsos. Here. Trustee Moreland. Trustee McLaurin. And Mayor Ah.
Here. All rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag. Does the board have any conflicts of interest?
No.
No.
Seeing none. General public input for those items not on the action agenda?
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, my name's Mary Benson, and I'm here to discuss park results. I watched the May 20th meeting on YouTube, and I realized that you all have a lot of questions, and I also realized that you have not been presented with the final results from park. In April, I dropped off the research, and the thought at that time was that there was going to be a new mayor or town manager hired that was upcoming really soon, and that there was going to be a planning director that was going to be onboarded, so to wait. I think that you're up against a deadline. If you want to get something onto the ballot for November, your deadline is in July. Dustin confirmed that that's the 25th of July. So I think we spent 8 months on compiling all of this research, and I think it's too much information for you to consume by me just delivering it to you right here, right now in a board meeting. And I want to know if there's another venue there that we can hold this in, where we can do this fairly soon in a working type session or something where I can present you with the answers to your 4 questions and the research and the contacts that were reached out to and all of that other information to help you guys move forward. So that's my question.
Can I ask what the 4 questions are?
The 4 questions were what presented by you all, which was how do we get the word out if there's going to be a tax, what elements should be in the park plan, what elements should be removed, what about budget, what about funding, all of those 4 questions that you all proposed to us.
Mary, did we talk about in the plan, I know we had talked about people wanted a pool. Did we talk about building our own rec center as part of the plan?
The rec center was part of the question.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Should there be a rec center? If there is one, where would the location be?
Okay.
How would we fund it? Things like that.
Okay,
So the questionnaire that was submitted in the survey with the
Yeah.
319 survey responses, those elements were all of the elements that were prioritized by citizens. And there was a pool added. And then there were some additional questions about after-school care and would you, pay a membership fee and different things
Yeah.
like that. So all of
Okay.
those things were consolidated and put into a response.
okay.
Would the board like to meet maybe prior to the next meeting? We are kind of under a deadline here.
Yeah, I think we do need to have a discussion. And because of the July deadline for sure, but we also know what else is on the ballot in the fall. And so I think we need to come to a decision as to if we think this would even work based on what we know others in the school district and the fire district are doing. So we need to have a discussion on, is it even smart? Because we have the research. I don't think that's going to change, but
Right.
I think we need to have that discussion as a board.
In the documentation, I gathered everything that I felt would help you make decisions, including the ballot initiative wording, how that was split out by percentages, different things that I think would be helpful to you. I do know that the economy's not amazing. I also know that there are other things on the ballot. I do agree that people are going to decide based on, you know, their preferences. I also know that it's going to take a communications effort to help people understand what this is, and that can't happen until you all decide what it is that you would want to do. I also caution that we wait another year because you have a park committee that is familiar with everything. They're willing to step up for you and communicate for you. This has been out there for a really long time. If you're thoughtful about how you're doing this and it's communicated well, I think that it's possible. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
It's a crapshoot about whether people will vote for the school district or the fire or the, you know, I don't know. But I do know that you have momentum, and I know that you have current research, and I know that you have people willing to support you. So it's just, it's a lot. I mean, I did a lot of research, a lot of information, a lot of talking to people out there that have done different things. And so it's just a lot of information to consume for you, for me to just stand up here and tell you, this is, you know, this is the results. I just think it's too much.
Okay.
Can you make it in 2 weeks?
I can make it, yeah.
What do you need, like an hour?
I think that's probably enough.
What's the thoughts of the board?
I mean, I was planning to be here, so I say we do it. We need to make a decision in the.
I highly support this.
Yeah, I would like to have the discussion and then determine if we're putting this on the ballot or not.
Right,
I agree.
Yeah.
okay.
My suggestion is that you set this, given the fact that it's going to take some time, at least an hour, that you set this for a work session.
Yes.
Can we start like 5:15?
I don't see why not. June 17th, around 5:15?
Yeah. Is
Okay.
everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Okay,
Cool.
thank you. I
No, thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
And to clarify that deadline, it is just when you have to let the county clerk know you want to be on the ballot. We don't need to have Tabor and everything like that yet.
Okay.
Moving into that, but you usually do that by a resolution. So we'd probably need to pass that resolution if you guys want to take that direction on the first meeting in July.
Okay.
Well, we could also have something ready to go for the next meeting, and then when we approve the agenda, we can strike it if that's not the direction that the board chooses, right?
Perfect.
Yeah, so at least you have more time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Oh,
Mary.
thank you.
Any other public input?
Hi, I'm Andrew Cox with Silver Mountain Group, working on
Hey.
the Cinnamon Heights project. Sorry I missed last month. I was like doing kids' graduations and family vacations and stuff. But anyway, I'm back.
Yay.
So I'm here to answer any questions that you have about it. In the time since I've last seen you, we've built a big retaining wall along the west side of the property. If you've been out there, we're rebuilding a retention pond in the northwest part of the subdivision right now. Should have that finished this week. We'll move on to one in the northeast section, and then we'll probably move on to, we'll have to tear up the road for a minute, and so we can replace water services there. And so that road, Cinnamon Heights Road, will be closed for as little amount of time as we can, but probably not less than 3 or 4 weeks. before we get it repaved, and maybe as much as 6. So, all in all, I think we're making good progress. I still, barring catastrophe, I'm anticipating that we'll finish that project before the end of the year.
Yay.
So, every day that we hit another milestone, I get more confident about that, but of course, I'm always reluctant to. I think we have technically until sometime next year, but we've been trying to get it done. So, I don't know if you have any other questions, but I just wanted to give you that update.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No?
Super. Thank you for the update.
Okay, all right, I'll see you next month.
All right.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
See you, Andrew.
Any other general public input? Moving on, has the board had a chance to look at the agenda?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
I got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg,
Yes.
Trustee Cesaro,
Yes.
Trustee Hartz,
Yes,
Trustee Katzos,
Yes.
and Mayor Ah.
Yes. Public hearing for the Pine River Centennial Rotary Club Special Event Liquor License for the 4th of July for 2025.
Unfortunately, the applicant couldn't make it today. They have turned in their paperwork. One thing I did see on that paperwork was that their insurance expires July 3rd. They've assured me that they would get that re-upped. I know that's cutting it close, but sounds like that's when they expire because they got it on the 3rd a couple years ago, and so, but they've assured me that they will get that taken care of. And it's the same plan as before. We're going to use the ball field fences to help close it off logistically and put the stage over there in that
And
north field.
we have to approve this a month ahead of time, correct?
I got to get the paperwork to the state. The insurance is a town requirement, not a state requirement. But I do, yeah, I got to give the
But
state,
we can pass this with the caveat that they have to have their insurance.
yes.
Does the board have any questions?
No.
Is there any public input on the liquor license? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing on that. Move on to the action agenda item of the Pine River Centennial Rotary Club Special Event Liquor License for the 4th of July of 2025. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the Pine River Centennial Rotary Club Special Event Liquor License for the 4th of July, pending their updated insurance that will cover through July 4th, 2025.
I'll second that.
Is that an okay motion?
It's a great motion.
Okay, good. I'm like, did we say it right?
It's lovely.
No, lovely.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg,
Yes.
Trustee Cesaro,
Yes.
Trustee Hartz,
yes,
Trustee Katzos,
Kat? Oh,
Yes.
and Mayor Ah.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yes. Okay.
Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes and department reports. First is approval of the minutes for May 20th, 2025.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes of May 2025.
second,
I got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg,
Yes.
Trustee Cesaro,
yes.
Trustee Hartz,
yes,
Trustee Katzos,
Yes.
and Mayor Ah.
Yes. Next is the town manager's report.
The only or the main thing I want to bring up is Dan, our planner from SEH, had to go a different direction, decided he'd quit and do some other things in his life, and so he's not available to us. And that puts a big kink in our abilities to respond to all these housing and subdivision issues. Nancy, who's the principal at SEH and has been a contract planner for you before, is dedicated to help cover those things as Dan would through the end of July. However, I would have to say that she's not going to be able to pick up as quickly just because Dan was highly involved with the very specific details of the various proposals. Stephen, our community development director, is going to leave on a trip that was pre-planned prior to hiring him, and for his daughter's wedding. And the idea was Dan would be here to try to help Stephen get kind of boned up on a few things and to cover while he was gone. So there's a bit of a weakness there, I guess, at this point, to be able to cover things. I would say that in general, we have so many applications for housing and development proposals. It's kind of overwhelming for a small town like this, let alone one that has is missing some of the key positions at this point. And for me, I'm the interim manager, but I'm here to cover, basically keep things going, not start large projects, et cetera. And you're doing well in doing your search for a new manager. And as you know, and the public may or may not know, you've done interviews, done certain things. You're focusing down on who could potentially take over, but it's still taking time because obviously everybody has to have time to prepare for future in-person interviews and all that. So again, I guess there's kind of a weakness there too. It's not like having a permanent town manager on board yet, but we're doing a good job. We're holding everything out, keeping everything going, but it's difficult. So I just want to let you know that those are some of the constraints we have at this point in time, and we'll get through them, but we won't have gobs and gobs of resources that every person wants to come in and ask a question about something. It's going to be very difficult to try to have answers for everybody immediately. So that's it.
Scott, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Are we able to set expectations somewhere that of what our turnaround time might be on some of these requests that are coming in based on our staffing situation, so that when people are asking and it's taking us longer than normal to get back to them, that we've front-loaded, this is where we're at, it's going to take a little bit longer, and actually set like what that means?
Well, up until a few years ago, we didn't have that problem. And Dan knows where the projects are at and accurately has defined how quickly he's able to respond to them.
Okay.
So it's something that I think Stephen right now probably is mulling over and stressing him out a little bit. But he'll have to come up with some kind of expectation for many of these things and work with the applicants the best he can. But yeah, I agree. If we can give some notice to people who are bringing these proposals in, that would be great. To really know how long. I mean, it's not like putting a quarter in a slot machine and we know it's going to come out the bottom after 5 minutes, because in the development proposals can go all kinds of different directions that you wouldn't expect. So we can't really say for certain how long it takes to get through something, but I think just at least letting the applicants know these limitations and how we're going to try to get through them would be wise. So I think Steve and I will work that way.
Awesome. And then is Dan providing us, or I don't know if he just up and left or if he gave notice, but is he able to provide us with a kind of like a closing out document or summary of where he was at with all of these projects? Or I don't know if Stephen already knows this information.
Steve might be able to report on that a little bit better. But we had, I think at the last meeting, Dan put together a pretty good summary, and I think I forwarded it to one of the council members who reported a meeting they went to.
Okay.
And I can reproduce that for you and send it out to you, email it to you. But I don't know if Stephen's given much thought or talked to Dan about that.
Yeah, we did have a, trustees and Mr. Mayor, we did have a meeting with Dan and with his, the person who's going to backfill for him, Nancy from SEH. So we met with them last Thursday. Dan had prepared notes for all of the active projects that are currently in our queue and gave us a status update on where those are so that we had a pretty good flavor of where those different projects were, gave us a chance to ask some questions, clarify timelines, et cetera. So I think we have a pretty good understanding on current status. But to the town manager's point, you know, there are some scheduling challenges that are being presented to us with this departure.
Okay. Scott, I would love to see whatever document it was that you sent to the other members of the board. If
I sent it
that's
to
who,
one person that was going to give a report at a meeting. I think it was Kat.
yeah, no, I'd love to see that in case if there's
that's a good-
delays and things and people start asking us questions, it'd just be good to know where we
I'll
were.
send you that document. It's dated
Perfect.
now a little bit by a month.
That's okay.
But, and then maybe it's something Steve and I can look over and we could give a little update to it. So we'll work on something and get you our best shot at it, I guess.
No, it's all I'm asking, best shot. Thank you.
Yeah.
I did have a question on the east side intersection. Are we, SEH up to speed? Are they, what's their time frame look like?
They're up to speed. Actually, the biggest issue, the biggest constraint on getting something done is the CDOT. Because, and let me throw this out as an example. We've got this sidewalk project. It's the SUP, S-U-P, right? You would believe, I mean, we had a probably 15 people around a table talking about getting to finish off a little piece of this sidewalk. It was immense. I'm trying to say is it's enormously bureaucratic and difficult to get through these projects that involve CDOT or the federal government, et cetera. So, moving on to CDOT. We met with Bridget today, both Philip at SEH and Stephen and I, and we do these monthly updates. And I am shooting to try to get this under construction maybe this winter. We have a deadline of having everything all done by, this is the state's deadline, of, I think, what's 2026, the fall of 2026. No,
2027, August of 2027.
I can't believe how years pass so quickly. It's just like, it could be there. Anyway, and honestly, listening to Bridget, it sounds like, oh yeah, it takes quite a long time to get through this stuff. So it's not really a matter of the engineers not producing as much as necessary. It's that the wheels of government grind exceedingly fine and exceedingly slow because there's so much they're going through. So I'm shooting and trying to push them to get it done sooner and get through the regulations. But I think the CDOT regulations are going to cause it to go a little longer. Now, I did report before that we're being put in a different kind of review, which is easier for us and should make it quicker. And I'm glad for that. But we still have to follow all the environmental evaluations, all these different steps. But SEH has been doing what they're necessary to do. The access control permit and all that work has gone in, and some other work they've done gone into CDOT, and we've had a discussion. I'm sure maybe Steve picked up on more things because it was all new to him. But Steve, anything other thoughts with that?
No, I think that's a pretty good summary of today's meeting, and then we're going to meet again with SEH one-on-one to kind of review their upcoming work program next week.
So.
And just they are different people at SEH doing this work. So just to be clear that Dan's departure is not impacting this particular scope of work.
Any other questions for town manager?
No, thank you.
Parks and Trails Director report?
Good evening, Board, Mayor. Month of May, just a few highlights. The Gosney Shade Structure was put up. They were not able to hang the cloth. Dan, our inspector, wanted to wait a week for the concrete to cure. That time has passed, but the contractor that was doing the work had to move on to another job. So they're scheduled to come back in July to finish this. And it's really just putting the cloth up on the structure, so not too big of a deal. I would like to have it done sooner than that, but with their scheduling, that's kind of where we're at with that. Overall, everything went well. They, cleaned everything up really nicely after they got done. They did have quite a mess in there for a little bit, so I was kind of concerned, but they did a good job of cleaning that up. Kind of repeating from last year, we have another water leak at the library, main water line leak. We demoed the concrete around the backflow today. They used galvanized pipe in the ground, and it's rusted and has a hole in it, and that's why it's leaking. It is about 5 feet down in the ground, so we're going to work with Public Works and try to use their truck and excavate that and repair it. I did notify the library. They are asking if we want to repair the other water leak on the drinking fountain, but after reading the MOU and going over that with Attorney Goldman, we've declared that the water fountain is not our responsibility, so I don't feel like, it would be nice to do it while we're in there, but it's really not, our responsibility. So unless somebody else tells me differently, we're not going to touch that. We're going to repair the irrigation, because irrigation is our responsibility on the MOU.
When did we sign this MOU?
Way back when they built the park. The history on this is the town went in on the library. Basically, the town got the grant and then also provided funding. The library did as well. It is the library's property, but the town signed this agreement with them. I think it could be revised. I don't know whether, the pleasure of the board on that.
Well, I was on the board when that happened before,
Yeah.
and the agreement was that we were gonna help them get their grant, because it was a COGO grant, and they couldn't get it, and we could.
Right.
And we were
Exactly.
gonna get them the grant, but they were gonna have all control of maintenance, they were in control of the whole park.
No, sir. Not with the MOU that we have. I can send it to you guys.
I'd like to see it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll shoot it over to you. Attorney Goldman's looked it over. What I get out from it is it states that we would maintain this park as we would any other town park. And we are responsible for landscaping, ground maintenance, irrigation are the things, and playground equipment are the things that we are responsible for. I feel the same way as you. I feel like either they should be responsible for all of it, or, at least 50-50. Because these are major repairs.
Well, I know that the board wasn't gonna approve it without them taking over the whole thing. That's right where we were at,
Right.
because nobody on the board, we didn't have the personnel to deal with it.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, I
enough, or
agree.
enough I should say, we had personnel that could deal with it. We didn't have enough personnel to deal with it.
Right.
We had too much other stuff to take care of.
I don't think it's a great agreement. I'm not sure why the town did this, but I will send it to you guys and you can review it. If you have questions, Michael's looked at it as well. But I think just the poor construction and the materials that they use, these are probably things that are gonna keep happening. This park's not that old. It's our newest park. We shouldn't be having this many problems with it, so.
No, we had a hole over there for the water system now, 2 years in a row.
Right. This is the third major water leak that we've had over there.
So Mark, when we repair the irrigation pipes,
Mm-hmm.
you'll put in whatever the appropriate
Right.
materials are so this doesn't happen again.
Yes.
When we're in the ground digging this up, how far away are we from this
It's right next to it.
water fountain leak?
It's
Okay.
right next to it. So it would make sense, and after you guys look at the MOU, we can discuss with the library if they want to go in on that
Okay.
and help us out.
Mm-hmm.
We've already gone this far. They might as well, do a little more excavation and spend the money to do the repair.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at it as we're in a drought right now, and so if we've got water leaking, I don't know what the library's means are to repair that leak. But I also think like if the equipment's already there and we're doing something, is there a way that, a 50-50 way, or what are some of the, I just want to know what the options are before saying yes or no.
And we kind of went through it. Katie and I met with the director over there, and we went through this with them, and their thoughts were, it's our responsibility. Our thoughts were, we're not digging this, thing up. If you want a water fountain, you can put it over by the library. And they didn't want to do that. And that was kind of the end of that discussion. But
Okay.
they feel on the MOU, and it is kind of a gray, it's not black and white. The MOU it can be misleading. But they feel like we should be responsible, and we're like, no, it should either be half and half, or, we'll take care of what it states in the MOU, and that's that.
Okay. Now, you caught me at water's being wasted.
Right.
That's my concern.
We noticed the
Yeah.
water leak right away, that we
Yeah.
shut the meter off.
Okay.
So we've gone over and turned it off just to keep the grass alive, because it is a slow leak, it's not a
Okay.
major leak.
Okay.
But we shut the water off each time, so it's not continuously flowing. And the library does pay the water bill, that is
Okay.
one part of that agreement, so. But yeah, we'll figure it out, we'll meet with them, I mean,
Okay.
they've been decent to work with, it's
Yeah.
just, we see it one way, they see it another, and I think we just kind of need to come together. But I will definitely send that to you guys, so you guys can see that. Other than that, other than our normal stuff, one other exciting thing is the skate park equipment did arrive on Monday. That's not on this report, but, and they're probably about halfway done with putting that equipment together. The weather has really been difficult for them, so they will be done by the end of the week with the skate park stuff. So it'll be good to have that back in place.
Great.
That's all I got.
What's happening with the old equipment?
I don't know. I mean, I personally don't see that it has any value. It's pretty banged up. You can't resell it because it doesn't pass, safety regulations. My thoughts are to recycle it. You're not gonna get a lot of money out of it. But we don't really have any use for it. So the only thing I can think of is take it to Reclam Metals, and you might get $100 out of it. That's, we've taken trailer loads of steel, and you don't get a whole lot of money out of it, so. But
Do you have an idea?
That's town property, so that's.
Well, but when Sursa came out, it was only the concrete that was the problem. It wasn't the equipment. So how do we know it's not?
It is the equipment.
It is the equipment
has
too.
hard edges. The railing has, yeah, it does not. And Sursa does pick up on some things, but they don't pick up on all things. And the training that I went to, you don't have hard edges on your railing. Somebody bounces their head off, or they're gonna get injured.
Well, I'm just thinking even, like, I'd hate to see it go to Reclam Metals if
Right.
some kid in the neighborhood wants a part of it in their garage and they can get it with a waiver. And I don't know. That's,
We've got it stored in the yard, so
Yeah.
whatever y'all would like to do with it, it's town property. We
Yeah.
don't have a use for it. It's probably 40 years old, 30 years old, I don't know. It's been here forever. It is a lot of steel. Maybe you could convert it into something.
is it in a place that we could just take pictures and put it
Right.
on, like,
Yeah.
Bayfield yard sale?
Can we do this by
I mean,
Saturday?
can we do that? It just seems like somebody might want it.
As long as
If we
Mr.
can get a-
Hong and Mr.
yeah, if
Goldman's
it's
fine with that,
possible to-
then
Well,
do it.
again, I would check with your insurer before you did anything like
Right,
that.
right, that's the other side of it, always.
Right, liability.
Yeah,
I
okay,
couldn't tell you, but I will look into that for you.
okay, just see. How did the fire start?
Kids, I didn't really get the full report. I think Ray probably knows a little more of that. It did burn a pretty decent sized area.
Yeah.
The fire department did a fantastic job again by knocking that down. We came and was ready to start pulling stuff out if it got out of control, but they did a good job. So it was kids. From what I've heard, the police did, make contact with the people that started it. I don't know what was the outcome from there.
Behind the fence. so it had to be
It
pedestrian
was,
kids.
behind the senior center. It wasn't.
Yeah, I know where it
The shop
is,
and the
but-
senior center are so close, but
Yeah,
I don't know if it was baseball kids or the rental that was at the senior center, but it was definitely kids, and we were able to capture them on surveillance and identify who they were, and.
was it like during the day or the evening,
It
or?
was evening, yeah.
Okay.
I think like 6:30-ish is when I got a call on it, so, I think it was some kids on the baseball team, farting around doing stuff they shouldn't be doing back there. It's a really dangerous area to be starting a fire, but.
Yeah. And then there was still some brush like kind of thrown off to the side. Is that all gonna be pulled out of there?
As
Like-
far as I saw, everything that was, I mean, they cleared a fire line, if we can. I don't think that it's gonna do any good, as overgrown it is back there.
No, just some things from clearing the fire line, some brush was thrown over some brush and maybe, it's probably cleaned
Right.
up.
I've walked through it, it
Yeah.
didn't look bad, honestly. What burned, and they cleared a little, fire line so it wouldn't keep going, but it's not bad, and it's not on the trail system, so,
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah.
They did a great job, so. yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Mark?
No, you're off the hot seat.
Thank you, sir. May 2025 expenditures. Has the board had a chance to look those over?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the May 2025 expenditures.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg,
Yes.
Trustee Zazzaro,
Yes.
Trustee Harts,
Yes?
Trustee Katzos,
Yes.
and Mayor Ah.
Yes. Town manager candidate update.
Actually, okay, yeah.
In May, our HR director made a posting for the town manager position on several municipal websites, including several local and national organizations. And since then, we have received several qualified applications for this position. On Friday, May 30th, the Board of Trustees and myself virtually interviewed some of the candidates for the town manager position, and we have narrowed that list down to 3 candidates for an in-person interview. The date of the in-person interviews will be Friday, June 20th, and during that day, each candidate will meet with the Board of Trustees for an interview in the morning. We'll attend, and we will have a meet and greet with the community during lunchtime, and then the interview with our leadership teams in the afternoon. The place of the meet and greet during the lunchtime, we haven't secured a spot yet, but keep an eye out or call town hall and we'll have that for you soon. We just didn't get that finalized as of yet. On our next board meeting on Tuesday, June 17th, we will release the names of the candidates at our regularly scheduled board meeting. And there'll be more information about the meet and greet then, and it'll be posted on Facebook next week. We do hope you will join us in welcoming our candidates to Bayfield, and we look forward to selecting a new town manager in the coming weeks. I want to thank our community and staff for your patience as we navigate this process. Is there any questions from anyone?
Are we able to ask questions at this meeting?
Yes,
Oh, yes.
yes. I just can't tell you where it is yet because I don't know. But we'll know at the next board meeting, which would be, I don't know, 3-4 days ahead of time.
Yeah. It'll be some point that Friday during lunch, just somewhere in town.
What's lunch? I mean, is that 12 noon?
I think we were looking at sometime between,
Yeah,
don't-
probably
Yeah,
11:30
11:30.
to 1, depending how the interviews schedule go and where I can secure a spot.
Will they be making statements to the general public?
Probably an open statement of sorts, you know, I'm so-and-so, this is my experience, blah, 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 that type of thing. At least that's what we're gonna ask them to do. How they come about and do that, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Um,
Us.
Any other questions?
Mhm.
Nope.
Okay. Next up on the action agenda is the CDOT East intersection.
The project, we have a federal grant amount of $1,547,000, and it required a local match. CDOT has agreed to provide that local match. They want to see this project done as well, and that's in the amount of $321,583. So this document that you've got in your packet secures that for Bayfield. The only other detail I would probably need to bring up is that the signator, the proper signator, will be the mayor, and you need to authorize his signature on this. And then once we get that, actually what happens next is we notify CDOT, they'll make a proposal to their comptroller, and then I think that's when it comes back for a DocuSign from the mayor. So, but once you get the approval tonight, then everything will move along and probably be done within a week or so. So that's the summary.
Does the board have any questions?
No, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the CDOT grant amendment number 1 of project SPFF 1602-192. I don't know what the parentheses part is, 26604, for CDOT to pay that amount of $321,583.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg?
Yes.
Excuse me. Trustee Cesaro?
Yes.
Trustee Harts?
Yes.
Trustee Katzos?
Yes.
And Mayor Ah.
Yes. Next is ratify the town manager contract, the interim town manager contract.
Well, my contract ran out, I think it was May 15th, and so and I feel kind of funny presenting this. I was going to ask Michael to present this. I think I'm a really great guy. Okay.
Yeah, so
There's a
pursuant to the
joke there.
board's direction, I drafted an amended contract for Scott to review. He not only reviewed it, he signed it, apparently was very happy with it, and we got it just last week, put it on the agenda for you to ratify. And again, it's pursuant to your direction in the first place with all your terms, so I see no reason why this board shouldn't move to ratify and vote on it.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to, I don't know if we're saying ratify or approve? Is it ratify?
I think ratify
Okay.
the amended contract as
Okay.
presented and
Sure.
executed.
Okay, yeah, so I'll make a motion to ratify the amended town management service contract.
I'll second that.
We got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg?
Yes.
Trustee Cesaro?
Yes.
Trustee Harts?
Yes.
Trustee Katzos?
Yes.
And Mayor Ah.
Can you hear me?
Yes. We got you, Kat.
Okay, great.
Next is the Cooper Fire contract.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor, trustees. So the fire contract that you have is a maintenance contract. We wanted to let you guys have a look at it. Attorney Goldman has identified a few errors with address, but we were hoping to get some feedback in regards to, one, executing a maintenance contract. We just finished all of the insurance repairs, so town hall is back to regular operational order. we feel it might be appropriate to hire a firm to service our fire suppression system on a regular basis. So this contract is standard, came from Cooper Fire. They said they typically do a 3-year contract. I don't know if that term might need to change. Of course, there's some corrections that Attorney Goldman has identified as far as for addresses and stuff like that, but we'd like to get a little bit of direction. If this is the avenue you want to go, Cooper Fire is the contractor that made the repairs to the fire suppression system after we did have the failure up there. So we just brought back the one service agreement. If you would like us to look for additional contractors to provide service, or if this is something you might want to continue with negotiations and enter into an agreement with.
I mean, I like the idea that they fix the problem and that they will be around to provide maintenance to the system that they did the work on. I don't know if there's other qualified, do we have to? Is it in our policies that we have to go out for bid for something that's $2,700 a year?
That's,
I don't know off the top of my head.
yeah, that's typically up to you.
Okay.
You could award it to any firm you had. Really what you're looking at in our area is Cooper Fire Suppression System. They're out of Farmington, New Mexico, so the Four Corners area is what we're looking at. And then you have Advanced Fire, which was the other company that we had previous to that, to the failure. So if you guys are interested in pursuing this agreement, what we would do is make some of the corrections. If the terms might be amendable for 3 years, or if you would like those terms to change, we could negotiate with Cooper Fire that they provided this agreement, of course, run it by Attorney Goldman, and bring you back a final copy at the next meeting, hopefully, or potentially the meeting after.
Well, it looks like there's a discount of $120 annually if we do a 3-year contract versus just doing a 1-year contract. And I personally don't see any issue with moving forward with Cooper to provide this service, but that's just my opinion.
No, I agree. They've already worked on the system. They know the system, so.
And we only have the 2 options, right?
In our area.
Yeah.
We could look outsource, but I think, this is my opinion, and I don't know this for 100%, but when you start pulling somebody out of either Denver or Albuquerque,
Oh, no.
some of your travel and lodging costs can start to add up.
Yeah.
Right. no.
Because they wouldn't be able to make a day trip.
Yeah.
So some of the lodging, food, and mileage might be a little bit more costly, but
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
an option we could look into if.
Yep, I'm good with Cooper.
Me
Yeah, so
too.
does this just need to come back to us with Attorney Goldman's edits?
Oh, yeah, we
Okay.
definitely need to make those corrections, and then if the board approves, we'll negotiate that and bring you back a final,
Okay.
a clean copy that you would be able to execute.
Okay.
If that,
And there's not a problem.
Jeremy,
yeah,
may I ask a question?
sure.
Was their work warranted at all that they just did for us? Is there any warranty service agreement that was in place to have them do the work?
I'm not sure of the warranty for the repair. Typically with new construction, you'll get a 1-year warranty, but for repair work, I'm not sure. I can look into that and bring it back to you.
Okay, I was just curious because if there is a warranty, maybe we don't need to kick that contract in until, that warranty's gonna expire.
Sure.
That makes sense.
Let me look into that, and we'll bring back more
Okay.
information with you.
Thank you.
And then I have a question for Attorney Goldman. There's no problem with us signing a 3-year contract?
Again, there should be a clause in here that says always subject to appropriations each year. So you can enter into a 3-year contract, but the other party should always know that the contract is only as good as what the trustees appropriate in their budget for that particular project. So
Okay,
with that caveat, yes, you can do it.
okay. I'm good. I think we should go with Cooper.
Okay. Well, we'll work on that contract, and then Trustee Katsos will also look into any warranty information that may be associated with the repairs that were made as well, and bring that back to you at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Trustee Katsas brings up, primarily because this particular subscription agreement specifically makes no warranties concerning their maintenance. To the extent that they have provided warranties already, it's a great idea. Let's just make sure we hold them to that.
Great.
You good?
Yeah, I think I'm next too.
Yeah, you are. Continue.
So while you're standing there, Public Works purchase request for
Pistigrit.
somebody's pump.
Yeah, it's a Pistigrit. I don't even know if I spelled it right. But this is the machine in the headworks at the wastewater treatment facility that removes all the fine particulates and grit, so the sand and stuff like that. Last year, we installed the spare motor that we had on the shelf. We don't have one, so we did budget for a replacement motor. We got pricing, and then we came back with pricing here. What we did find out in shopping earlier this season is that all of this equipment comes through Falcon Environmental. They're a sole source provider, and even some of the other vendors that we talked to said that they'd have to purchase it from Falcon. So that's why we only have the one estimate. The big thing to point out here is that the lead time for this motor is 16 to 26 weeks. And so we would like to purchase one, keep it as a spare in case we need to replace it. The plant will operate without this piece of equipment in it. It'll just start depositing all that dirt, those grits and debris into the basins. So we really would like to purchase a spare. It's a budgeted expenditure, and we're looking for your approval tonight.
Any questions from the board?
No.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the amount of $11,617 for the purchase of a spare motor for the Pistigrit machine.
I'll second that.
I got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg?
Yes.
Trustee Cesaro?
Yes.
Trustee Hartz? Trustee Katsas?
Yes,
And Mayor Ah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Trustees reports. I don't, what do I have? I don't have anything at this time. Trustee Hartz?
Nothing?
Trustee Katsos?
just a reminder, if anybody was planning on attending the Economic Alliance monthly meeting, it is canceled for June. That's all I have.
Okay. Trustee Nyberg?
The next Southwest TPR meeting is June 12th, 25.
And Trustee Cesaro?
I was going to say, since our last meeting, Upper Pine had a ceremony where they pushed their new engine into the station, and our own Phyllis was there. She's on the video on their Facebook page, pushing the fire engine into Station 1. So that's exciting. Their next meeting, board meeting, is in a couple weeks, so I don't have anything more there. The Bayfield Chamber of Commerce met on Tuesday last week, and I believe they're moving forward with dissolution of the Bayfield Chamber. So more information to come there. And the block party is on Thursday, so that should be fun.
Which is part of the upcoming dates of interest, block party on the 5th at 5:30 on Mill Street, and the next board meeting is on the 17th at 6:30 with the meeting at meeting on the park at 5:15. And I saw where there's no planning commission meeting this month, correct?
That's correct. The planning commission meeting for the month of June has been canceled. Our next meeting will be in July.
Okay. Does that look like it's gonna happen?
Yes, we currently anticipate that we will have something on the agenda for the July meeting of the commission.
Who's gonna run that meeting?
So we have our backfilled person from SEH. She
Nancy.